So you were working with Artie and Jim, and then Larry McDonald also mentored you. Talk about those days a little bit then when you went into Department of Education in North Carolina.
Yeah, so I first met those guys, Artie, Jim, and Mac, when I was teaching high school, and I was at Walter Williams High School in Burlington, and we were registering or trying to be a demonstration school. We would have been the only high school as a demonstration school. So they all come to the school, and they're walking around, they're watching us teach and do some stuff, and they do this all the time. But Jim introduced himself as Mac, and Mac introduced himself as Jim. And of course, me, not knowing any better, called them those names. And so finally, by the end of the day, they told me the difference. And of course, they got me good, of course. And I was embarrassed, and they laughed, and they kidded me for that for the longest time. And when the job came open, I thought, well, I wanted to make a difference at the local level. And then I decided, I want to see if I have it to do something at the state level. And so I applied and got in there, and Jim and Artie were still there. Mac had decided to go back to Silva, and that was actually his position. But he stayed and mentored me, called me every day, sometimes to oblivion. It would be like, I can't talk now, Mac. I loved him though. I miss those calls now. But yeah, it was really good to have Jim Rich. I worked with a lot around adaptive physical education, and he helped me with start the first PE institutes down at the beach and Morehead City. And Artie was our section chief and really sheltered me from a lot of the politics and stuff like that. And he, let me do a lot of things I needed to do to be able to serve our teachers. So when you say I did a lot or I did anything, I have to credit Artie to a lot of it because, we would brainstorm things or come up with ideas, and he would make sure that we, were able to do it. So it was good. And I gained about 50 pounds because all they ate were buffets. Every day at lunch. And if we had breakfast, Jim was already like, okay, what's for lunch while we're sitting at breakfast? And then at lunch, it was like, well, we're eating for dinner. And I'm like, God. So, and Artie gained a lot too. He'll laugh, he'll tell you. But that's, and whether it was Kentucky Fried Chicken, they had buffet, whether it was, it didn't matter. It was Chinese a lot. It was buffet wherever we went. Hilarious. And so I was trying to be one of the guys. It was funny. But so I ate with them. That was my excuse anyway.
I didn't realize that they were that close. I knew they were close, but that's like a brotherhood.
Oh, they are brotherhood for sure. They were brotherhood. They when they first got to DPI, Larry McDonald was the section chief. Artie was the PE teacher. The PE consultant. And they had they had 18 people at the department then. They had 2 PE people and a driver's ed person. They had 3 or 4 athletics people, and they had a bunch of
those days.
Couple of health people. Bob Fry was there forever. So when I got there, they had made all those cuts. That's when they really cut DPI in half.
Okay.
And so my role then became Artie ended up getting the section chief position, and Mac was in the PE position. But that PE position became PE, athletics, sports medicine. It got rolled up into a bunch of stuff. And then eventually when our health consultant left, Michelle Wallen came in, but when she left, it got the help position too. So it's been tough, and all the way to where we don't really have state funded positions anymore. Right. And so we used to have a bunch of state funded positions, and we have grant funded positions, thank goodness. But it's kind of scary.
It is. And I think now, looking back, now I know why I was supported so much.
Yeah.
And I was able to grow as a professional.
And we had Mike Ward, who was an avid runner. He was amazing as a superintendent. He actually went to talk on several occasions for us at national conventions on health and safety. And then June Atkinson, who was our central office. She was our curriculum instruction director.
Okay.
And so she's the one that came to me one day and said, Kymm, it's time to write for the minutes in PE. Let's write the policy. She's the one that came and said it. And so I was a little weary of it, but that's when I wrote the Healthy Active Children policy and put it forth. I wrote more than the minutes because I was scared we wouldn't get them. I put all the other 5 pieces in there, luckily. But yeah. And then she became our superintendent. So we've had some good years of all of that,
I didn't realize. So you were one of the greatest. So you helped write the Healthy Active Children policy in North Carolina.
I wrote it. Yeah. And then
I did not know that.
yeah.
I'm going to get an autographed copy when we're done.
Me too.
Well, it's changed now. They've been some edits. I mean, I wrote the first one. There's been a lot of edits. It's really improved. It's gotten better and better.
Sure.
It's merged with our wellness policies and stuff, which has been good. The first ones were a bear. The ones that I wrote were a bear to try to account. But my thinking was, I want to assure that we always have, like a coordinated school health council, a wellness council. So that was part of it. I wanted to make sure there was some accountability because I knew there would be no accountability. Nobody's going to do it. So there had to be a report come to the state, which was not the best thing when I did it, but it was at least a report.
Mhm.
It's gotten a lot better. That we would, not take recess away from kids as punishment, and that kids would get recess 30 minutes a day. And that K through 12 would get healthful living. It would be health and PE. But then they changed that from mandated to recommended. So I forgot what the first one was now too, but there was 5 parts to it that I ended up putting in there. But I wanted to make sure that we had something just in case the minutes didn't go all the way through.
That's amazing. I did not know that when we first started this podcast. So, wow.
Well, a lot of that came from the advocacy work that I had done, because I'm so active in advocacy. It was things that I had learned and things that I had talked with other people about policy and had, just been involved around that led me to that decision to, when she asked me to write it, I wrote it bigger.
Sure.
Do you still have a hand in the updates of it and helping write that?
No, not now. Just because I'm not really involved at DPI anymore, and they've got such a great section now with Ellen Essick leading that whole team, and I wouldn't know all the ins and outs of what's going on now like I did then. So